Rufus Hack, the CEO of Sony Sports. Enjoy the session.
We're going to go ahead and set the stage with a short video, and it's designed to put us in the mindset of what was happening in 2010. Trigger warning, this may create some strong feelings in the audience. If we can roll the video, please. So let's talk about how we don't have that happen again. The other exciting thing that happened in 2010, besides that piece of football history, of course, is a little bit of sports business technology history. In that, looking back, that was the time that FIFA and Sony came together to think about a much deeper partnership. So we're going to talk about a number of things. And again, we will be taking questions, so please do send me in via the iPad. But I want to talk about the Football Technology Center first, because I believe this partnership has been developed and is ongoing in such a unique way, and obviously a very successful one. So, Johannes, I'm going to turn to you first, please. When you and FIFA decided to enter into this type of joint venture, can you tell us a little bit about the why?
Yeah, happy to do that. So first of all, since I'm German, I'm really happy seeing this video again and again. But of course, the ball has crossed the line, and of course, that was the trigger point at that time where the former FIFA management said, okay, now we need technology in our sport. So I just want to say that. But of course, it's a very famous one. So yeah, first of all, thanks for the invite. It's great being here. It's my first time at the Leaders, so it's fantastic seeing this venue. Yeah, we decided at FIFA last year to do something different than what we have done before. As said, what you just have seen, this incident was the moment where a lot changed within FIFA when it comes to innovation technology. And already from the beginning, we were working closely with different tech providers, and one of these tech providers was at that time already Hawkeye. And over the time, of course, we developed many other technologies like video assistant refereeing, as you know, semi-automated offside. So we decided at a certain point that, okay, we want to work closer together with one sports tech company. And the main reason was really we want to improve the game. Hawkeye wants to improve the game. Why can we not come together? They bring all the expertise from the tech side, we bring all the expertise from the football side, and then work together very closely on a daily basis.
And from your point of view, Rufus, how does this partnership feel different, and again, some potential success stories than you have with other leagues and clients that you've had?
Yeah, well, we're incredibly fortunate across our Sony Sports business, with Hawkeye being one, to work with 23 of the top 25 sports leagues. So we get quite a good vantage point. And sport has always had an interesting relationship with technology, and sport tends to be incredibly conservative. And it's well within its rights to be conservative, because it's protecting heritage, tradition, and the passion of billions of fans globally. But I think it's hopefully unequivocal now that technology can be good for sport. Like whether you're looking at line calling in tennis, or DRS in cricket, or automatic balls and strikes in baseball, or goal line technology in football, I think technology has the power to make sport fairer, quicker, safer, more engaging. But obviously it needs to be done the right way, and it needs to be sympathetic to the sport itself. But I think you have tipping points like the Lampard's goal that we saw, the goal that never was in 2010, where actually the sport is ready for change and the technology is ready. I mean, you could have argued that actually the sport was ready for VAR in 1986 when Maradona scored the hand of God. Like, there was lots of outrage amongst particularly the British press at that, but the technology wasn't there. So there has to be this intersection of technology and sport come together. And I think, as Johannes said, that's what we're trying to do with the Football Technology Centre. Like, it's very hard to contract around long-term innovation. And we truly believe that there's a massive opportunity to use technology in a really refined way, and whether that is to improve officiating, whether that's for fan engagement, whether that's for player performance. But ultimately, for us, that is better done when you've got long-term shared objectives over a true partnership, where it feels like one team rather than a vendor-supplier relationship. So for us, that was sort of the genesis behind having the conversation with Johannes and his team.
I think to add on that, what Rufus just said is the Football Tech Center, this joint venture, is unique in a way that we are focusing mainly on developing it for football, meaning we want to give that back, not only via Hawkeye, but also other tech providers can come and can get what we are developing. So really, we want to open that to the football world, because we believe such a joint venture, focusing really on research and development, can really help us to further improve our sport.
So let's talk a little bit about what that actually looks like in practice in terms of unleashing that technology that, Johannes, you talk about bringing all over the globe. So Rufus, tell us, or actually let me go to Johannes first. When you think about some of the exciting things that happened at the Club World Cup, can you give us some of the stories of how the technology really activated for fans and what that felt like?
Yeah, happy to do so. So I'm not sure how many watched the FIFA Club World Cup this summer, hands up. Ah, okay.
Nice.
Oh, that's good.
Wow, that's about
Perfect,
100%.
yeah. Chelsea FC is the winner of this beautiful trophy, so I think it's obvious. So have you realized something when you watched the match? There was one element that people, when you tell them, they suddenly say, oh yes, that's true. So what we have done, what we analyzed before that, and where we then involved also the IFAB, the lawmakers, said we want to do a trial that semi-automated offside, for the ones who are not familiar with that, it's a system based on tracking technology. So we have cameras inside the stadium, we are tracking the players, we have millions of data points per match. And in real time, we are working here closely with Hawkeye, and that was one of the development of this joint venture. We are then, of course, providing what we did in Qatar, immediately the information to the video assistant referee. Now, at the FIFA Club World Cup in the US, we got the approval from the IFAB that we could, for all positional offside, send directly this information to the assistant referee. So that means that the assistant referee immediately could raise the flag and not really waiting for until the ball is out of play, but could immediately raise that. That led to unbelievable positive results. We had only one offside, positional offside, that had to be changed by the VAR, and only because at that time there were two signals, goal signal and the offside signal, and there was a kind of confusion. But otherwise, all the positional offsides were correct and immediately flagged by the assistant referee. So that was one of the things we are working on, both teams are working on, called advanced semi-automated offside. And of course, as Rufus correctly said, it's not only for the referees, it's also for the fans, because they don't have to wait for a few minutes until this information comes and the final decision, goal or no goal, is given.
There's something, Rufus, that you said in our preparation conversations about balancing speed and accuracy and fan experience, and how all those things are in slight tension with one another. How did you think about rolling out some of this technology for FIFA with those three elements?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's the rights holder who has to decide that trade-off. I mean, we're doing a lot of work at the moment, for example, with the NBA. And for Adam Silver, it's all about how do you make the fourth quarter quicker. So he's all about speed. We've just recently worked with the NFL to roll out a new automated line to gain. So whether the player gets to the first down mark, that's all about accuracy. And I think there is, for different leagues, it depends on different things. But I think the nirvana is when you can get to a technology which actually makes the game quicker it makes it more engaging, and it makes it more accurate. I think it's almost unquestionable that the technology is better than humans at making decisions. I mean, not only does it get more decisions right, I mean, the Premier League did a study on this with VAR recently and said pre-VAR, 1 in every 5 decisions was wrong. So effectively 20% of critical incidents were wrong. Post-VAR, it's more like 1 in every 25. So you're getting 5 times less wrong decisions made. And then there's the bigger, softer factors. Like in soccer now or football, you see much less simulating of players. You see much more less career-ending injuries. So I think we're seeing the benefits of this, but ultimately there seems to be a bit of a journey, and this is the journey that we're working with Johannes and his team on, of not only trying to make it more accurate, but also trying to make it quicker and engaging as well. And VAR is on that journey, and obviously semi-automated offside and over time automated offside is how we aim to do that, because rather than stopping for a minute or 40 seconds, ultimately everything goes directly, like it does with goal line technology, to the ref's watch, and you can get back into the flow of the game much quicker.
What does that journey look like from a technological perspective, but to go from semi-automated to fully automated? And where are we in that journey?
Yeah. So let me answer that first one. So we are in the middle of this journey. And I said it yesterday where there was also a meeting and conference in Zurich. I said it normally takes, and that's probably not what people want to hear, but it normally really takes 1 to 2 years until we have something fully tested and until it is waterproofed. So it's really a process. We have a 5-step process. So it's a clear procedure in place. We're starting always with what is the problem. We try to understand the problem. We are then going to universities. We're working with MIT in Boston, with Loughborough here in the UK, with Victoria University in Australia and so on, where we are testing everything that especially his team is developing, that we can be 100% sure that this is as accurate as possible. So therefore, it's really a journey from what is the problem, going to universities, going to the industry, testing. And then the biggest challenge that we have, and people sometimes really think, oh, to find a solution is the biggest challenge. It's not, because we have very creative people working with us from Hawkeye. The biggest problem for us on the FIFA side is to bring something completely new to a tournament like the FIFA Men's or Women's World Cup. Because it's such a huge process already in place, bringing that into that. I have a team of 10 people doing nothing else, just looking into that, how this new innovation could be now put into practice at a FIFA tournament.
I mean, just to add on that, Eileen, it's I think actually FIFA are exemplars in terms of how we do that in the world of sport. I mean, we spend a lot of time at these conferences looking fawningly at US sports who have great commercial models and great competition structures. I actually think one of the things we should be very proud of within European-based sports is our ability to use technology and integrate technology into the game. And the way that Johannes and his team have 4-year agendas where introducing goal line technology in 2014, VAR in 2018, semi-automated offside in 22, looking at new innovations for 26. It provides a really clear methodological approach, which is fully tested and fully implemented. And I think Johannes and the European sports industry should be pretty proud of their way of using technology to try and help the game.
And it seems like that's a very replicable process that you're using. So you come up with the idea, you roll it out, you make sure it's tested. And do you feel that that has helped adoption from the fan base, that they feel that it's really a verified process?
Yeah, what is also, it's a very good point. So when people also don't know that we always include all the different stakeholders. So when we started with video assistant refereeing, and the very funny story was, and we did that together in 2016 at the FIFA Club World Cup in Japan, where we had only a small, very old hot dog stand, where that was the only room that was available in the stadium, where we had to place our VAR and everything. But before that, we had a fan focus group, so people from all over the world, football fans, we invited to Zurich for a few days, really giving us feedback about this is the process at the moment, what do you think about it? We had fan panels, we had fan discussions, so from people all over the world asking, is this working for you as a fan in your region? Is it not working? And so on. And that's what we're doing, what we have done with the fans. The same, of course, with referees. The same, of course, with players, with coaches, and so on. So we always try really to get the view from everyone before we are done developing things, and especially when there are problems, to better understand the problems, really involving them in the process. By involving them in the process, at the end, it's a better adoption, and people are feeling more, yes, that's something that could work for us.
Yeah, that
fans,
sounds like a
or
great idea. And I know, Johannes, you said that one of your other stated goals, and from the FIFA vantage point, is to ensure that this type of technology, certainly not at the elite, most complicated level, does have a home throughout all of the community clubs and all of the different leagues that may not have the budgetary resources to do what FIFA can do. What does that look like? How do you take some of these learnings and bring it all across the globe?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest challenge we have, to be honest, but FIFA is really keen on developing, we call it always democratize sports technology, meaning that we want also professional leagues, professional competitions with less or with more limited budget than the bigger competitions, that they can have access to these new tools. So we always see it as a supportive tool. Is it for the referees? Is it for the teams? For the match analysts? For the players? Or for the fans? And of course, we want to make that available to as many as possible. So what I just said about semi-automated offside, where we have nowadays 16 specialized cameras in every World Cup stadiums, we now want to break that down to having only one camera at a very small football pitch somewhere in the world, where this professional league or competition can use similar insights, of course, to a little bit lower degree, obviously, because of the less cameras, but they also get a certain support. So democratizing is quite a big one, and it's also one for our joint venture, the Football Technology Center, we are looking into. Yeah.
And Rufus, what is Sony's role in that democratization process?
So it's something that we're incredibly passionate about. I mean, if you're going to buy a car, you wouldn't just have a $100,000 car to buy. Like, you need a $80,000, $60,000, $40,000, $20,000 car. And so we want to have a range of options, and we're talking about officiating primarily now, where the top leagues in the world can start to put this through all of their ecosystem. So, for example, in Italy, we work with Serie A, and they obviously use VAR, they use goal line technology, and they use semi-automated offside. But now, actually, they've said in Serie B and Serie C, we want to have some officiating solutions. So we've got a new product called FVS, Football Video Support. So effectively there, you don't require any extra officials. You just have one of our operators at all the games with a screen, and it's a challenge system like it is in cricket, where you can, the players in the Serie A C can effectively, or the managers can challenge a decision, and then the ref will go over and look at the video monitor. So I think it's about having different solutions for different tiers. And we are, as I said, incredibly passionate about this. And we've spent a lot of time over the last few years trying to get to a place where we're now at, where we can actually track the same level of data in terms of skeletal data of players through a phone or through a GoPro than we can through the cameras that exist throughout global stadiums. And so we're actually doing that at the moment with ECB, the English Cricket Board. So all of the counties have a phone on the umpires, and that's collecting skeletal data, which actually was one of the main reasons that Josh Tong got selected for the recent England series, because of some of his bowling stats. So my ambition, and I think this is hugely realistic, is that when people in the crowd are playing on their Sunday league team, or you're playing for your kids are playing, or you're playing in college or school, I think over time we will have, whether it's iPhones or cameras or GoPros, there will be mechanics for you to collect data. So actually there is officiating that you're able to use within the grassroots and domestic side of things. And then you can also use that data for lots of other things. Like, you can use it for fan engagement, to run your local club fantasy team. You can use it as a sort of Strava-esque thing to see how hard you kick a ball versus opponents. You can start to use it for performance, for training, for coaching, for tactics. And so we believe that is very much within the purview of the medium term, the next 3 years or so. And actually, as Johannes is aimed for democratising the technology through football, we think that that can go through the whole sports ecosystem.
And is that then, to your point a few moments ago, is that what helps avoid some player injuries as well? Like, is that a benefit to having that type of skeletal understanding?
Yeah, absolutely. So just to pick up on what Johannes said, so we are now, through pretty much every global sport, capturing 29 parts on an athlete's body in real time, 100 times per second, 1 second latency. So when you have that depth of information, whether it's for football, whether it's for basketball, whether it's for ice hockey, whether it's for rugby, you can actually start then to build very interesting models around a player's biomechanical passport. And then you can see if actually a player starts deviating from that, either in match or post-match, and MLB use this a lot. So MLB will look to see whether a pitcher is starting to over-rotate his rotator cuff, and then they might pull him off after the 4th innings rather than the 5th innings. We're starting to look at similar trends in soccer, in football. So effectively, if a player's stride length starts to shorten, does it mean they're starting to carry a slight injury? So over time, we think that actually this skeletal data, which is provided in real time, can offer real benefits to help reduce injuries, help load management, help training, and then potentially even in the sort of the scouting and the transfer side of things.
Yeah. And Johannes, from your perspective, what are some of the other results that FIFA is really looking for from this partnership?
Yeah, as I said before, the big vision that we have is we want to improve our sports and we want to use technology to the best of its potential for our sport, meaning we are fully aware of the tradition of our sport, so it must be always a balance between what problem can we solve and what technology we bring in to solve that. I think we are fully aware, so that's quite important for us. At the end of the day, it's that's the moment we can solve problems, like no longer, you do not have to wait any longer for offside decisions. These kind of things are clearly defined problems, and we have clearly defined KPIs, and we hope with our joint venture partner Hawkeye that we can solve as many as possible. And at the end, again, it should be a supportive tool for the different stakeholders, and of course, ideally, we can improve the fan experience at the same time.
So if we're sitting here in your next 3 to 4 year development cycle, what are some things that we have to look forward to? Johannes first, and then to Rufus.
Yeah, that's a very difficult one. I would say, of course, everyone is aware about what's going on in the world with artificial intelligence. We are looking, of course, we are exploring with our joint venture partner, also with other partners, what is possible, what is not possible. I said it before, democratizing is a very important one for us, bringing that down really to smaller professional leagues with less budget. I think these are the areas that we are really focusing at the moment. And as said, at the end, it's a 2-year cycle where we are testing, and only at the end, when we have a product ready that we develop together, we can bring that forward then to the different bodies at FIFA, and then hopefully it's approved and we can implement it.
Right. Well, we hope to see something certainly at the World Cup next year. And Rufus, obviously working across many leagues. Tell us what we also have to look forward to. What's coming down the pike?
I think there is a general movement that is well and hopefully widely accepted that technology can be good for sport if it's implemented the right way, the way that I think FIFA implements it. And some of the US partners we work with are much more impatient about looking to do something tomorrow, whereas Johannes and his team do take a 4-year cycle approach, which I think is good. I think the direction of travel will be more technology in sport, but I think it won't necessarily be a linear journey. I think actually you're also going to see technology start to be used for competitive advantage within the product more. And what I mean by that is we're seeing lots of insurgent and emerging leagues pop up at the moment. And actually one of the big things they're trying to do is to use technology to differentiate versus the established leagues. So an example being there's a new boxing league called Striker, which is starting at the moment. And ultimately what they want to do is they want to use our skeletal tracking because you're capturing all of the body parts of a fighter. So you know where the punch hit on the other boxer. You also know the velocity with which it hit. So you can start to assign points. So rather than just having a boxing fight, whereas at the end of it, someone lifts a hand and says 112, 110, and everyone murmurs, actually you can have transparency of the scoring all the way through the sport. And so the fans know that this fighter is 5 points up, or the boxer himself knows, right, I'm 3 points down going into the last round, I really need to go for it here. So I think there is the opportunity for technology to become increasingly ingrained within the sport, but it does need to be done really sensitively and sympathetically to the sport itself, as Johanna said.
And then in terms of maybe a little bit less exciting, but operational efficiencies. I mean, obviously with AI accelerating the development of so many things, do you see things around the corner in terms of how that's really going to change the way the league operates?
Yeah, absolutely. So another topic, another project that we brought to life at the FIFA Club World Cup was, and that's also people don't understand, but still nowadays in football, in our industry, the different organizations collecting data or have data collection companies manually. So, and with these millions of data points and with all our data scientists developing algorithms, we were able that the majority of all the event data, so shots on target, ball possession, all this is nowadays now done, or what we have tested, automatically. So in the background, of course, instead of having a team of 40, 50 people collecting manually in real time somewhere at the World Cup this data, now we can trust our algorithms, and that the majority of the event data that you see on TV, on the giant screen, or in the media, this is done automatically and, of course, quality controlled.
That's great. Well, gentlemen, we are just out of time. So thank you so much for a wonderful conversation. Thank you to our audience for listening. And that concludes, I think, day one of Leaders Week.
Thank you.